Mahalo.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to A Nervous Trek. I'm Ashley.
I am Zack. It's our first video, and we're doing some stuff, some things, and telling you about a trip. Hopefully.
We don't really know what we're doing.
One take.
One take. We've already done this like 6 times. So we're just going to roll with it, and you're going to get what you get right now.
I gotta be at work in like 8 hours, so yeah.
So what we're going to be talking about in this vlog is obviously...
Welcome to our first video!
We're a little awkward, but we also like to travel.
So we have normal jobs and get the normal amount of time off, and we try to take advantage of that and do things and go places that we don't get to go to on a week. I mean, I try not to put pants on.
Yes. So here we are, and we're going to talk to you guys about our trip on the Carnival Magic.
The purpose of this is I work with the same like 9 people every day. We kind of have each other figured out. I have some mild anxiety when dealing with things outside of my comfort realm. And turns out, so does she.
Everyone and everything, I don't want to say scares me, that's not the right word. I overthink every step of every process in ways that never needed to be thought about once, I think is the best way to put my mind into words. Things most people don't think about at all, I think 27 times, every scenario.
So she tries to over-prepare, and I just try to prepare myself for what's happening. And sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great, but
it works.
We definitely do our due diligence to mitigate those factors, and we're gonna try and give you guys some tips, hints, clues,
advice on how we make it through these trips.
Yeah.
Without complete breakdowns, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And I mean, being completely upfront, there are still breakdowns. We both still have moments on these trips where we're like, I can't leave the hotel today, or I'm gonna stay in this cabin for 4 hours and take a nap. And sometimes we do it together. We're like, you know what?
Or I'll just watch you do the Macarena over and over and over again.
Sorry, that was not Spanish at all. If anyone's watching this, I apologize. Please.
I'm not sure Macarena is actually Spanish at all. I don't.
Well, we should Google that. Anywho, so
one take.
One take. Here we go. Our review of the Carnival Magic. So we left on the 23rd.
October
23rd,
2021.
So I planned this entire thing. So the question I want to ask you is 5 stars. How many stars do you rate this trip?
Based on the previous takes, how many decimal points do I need to go?
I'm not going to tell you.
I would say a solid pie. It never ends.
I'm going to say 4.194. I'm going to rate it a 3.194.
I'd have rated it higher, but I don't know another number that doesn't end. So
we do a monthly sales meeting, and whoever rates the call with the longest decimal point is basically the winner. And I unfortunately let him know this in one of the previous takes that we did.
I need that.
Oh no, I asked for it. All right, so we're going to talk about Embarkation Day and how we got there. We had to fly out from Norfolk International. That is our home airport out of Virginia Beach, technically Norfolk. We flew to MCO, which I found out is the most magical airport in the entire world. We flew into MCO.
We did.
Then I booked through GoPort because I wanted the most seamless experience that we could have. So with GoPort, you can book a hotel,
Oh, I forgot all about
Shuttle
that.
from your airport. So the airport takes you to the hotel, and then the next morning, the shuttle picks you up at that hotel and takes you right to Port Canaveral where you get on the boat. Super, super easy. Except I thought that we booked at Lakeside Marriott and not Courtyard Marriott. So
It was the wrong hotel.
it was the wrong hotel. My bad. So we sat there. The shuttle was there the minute we walked up. And we said Lakeside Marriott. And he was like,
Let's
absolutely.
rewind a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
So we arrived in Orlando and called to get the shuttle.
Which GoPort
the
tells you
hotel.
to do.
Right.
Very accurate information.
They didn't ask for a name or anything. They're just like, okay, we'll send a driver. So
Driver shows up.
We're like, where were you supposed to go? And they said A3. A4?
I think it was A3.
Okay. Well, we just happened to be standing at arrival gate 5 or 6?
Yep.
Something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, go to A3. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. It's a major airport. Usually there's a area for buses and trams and stuff. And they're like, no, you're in the right place.
It was for Ubers, guys. MCO has like 4 different levels. There's one for general traffic, one for Uber rides, ride shares, Lyft, whatever your...
And then for buses.
And then for buses is on the 3rd level. So we were standing at A3 in the rideshare area for a very long time until one very excited cab driver was like, do you need a ride? Do you need a ride? And we said, no, we're waiting for a shuttle. And he looked at us and he was like, shuttles don't pick up down here. You guys are in the wrong area. You need to go floor down.
Yeah.
So thank you to that cab driver. Shout out. We ended up making our trek downstairs to A1, to the right level, where a Marriott shuttle bus was waiting. And again, I said Lakeside, and they were like, no, this is Courtyard. And I was like, okay.
So
Cool.
they send their shuttle drivers out based on their calls. They're not just rotating through. It's just call by call basis.
So he had been waiting there since I made the first phone call, and I was waiting in the Uber area.
And we watched him sit there for about 30 minutes and then leave.
So
And then come back.
Yeah. And then I gave another phone call, and they asked for a last name this time, which we were very thankful for. And I said my last name. And then that same driver came back with the same exact shuttle, and we were like, this is weird. So he came out and started talking to another couple that was standing there. And I walked up and I said, Lakeside? And he was like, no, Courtyard. I'm waiting for someone named Morris. And I was like, you know who Morris is?
That's all right.
It's me. I'm Morris. And then we realized we were booked at Courtyard Marriott, not Lakeside. So that was my bad. I added to our own anxiety, I believe.
Meanwhile, we were just chain smoking cigarettes because we didn't know how we were ever going to leave the airport.
Also, could have just called we could have called an Uber.
She did offer just to pay.
Yeah, I was kind of over it at that point. I feel like, so with GoPort, the price of the hotel, shuttle from the airport, and shuttle to the actual port only cost about $175, and I believe the hotel itself was $150 a night. So I didn't feel too bad about being like, hey, I'll go get an Uber. This is fine. Don't worry about it. Side note, I was trying to get to Disney. We'll talk about that in another vlog. So finally, we get on the shuttle. We get to the Courtyard Marriott. It's perfect. Everything is fine. The hotel is fantastic. No problems whatsoever.
So the next day, we did some stuff.
We woke up.
And then we woke up and we had to get on the shuttle to go to Port Canaveral.
Which was on time, waiting for us at 9:15. I was paranoid watching from the balcony. So 2 buses actually came. I watched the first bus fill up and I panicked and I was like, Zack, we gotta go.
She
Zack,
thought
we
there
gotta
was
go.
one bus.
I didn't know there were 2. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I will say my
Turns out
anxiety
there were more than that.
There were more than that. So we made it onto the second bus, easy peasy, gave them our names, and then we went and picked up from 2 other hotels in that area.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the the lady who said we couldn't leave.
Yeah, so there was like one mild hiccup. We sat in front of, I want to say it was like Hilton, for about 20 minutes in that bus, which was fine. It was air conditioned, it had TV, everything was cool. But they had overbooked the buses. So GoPort did not have enough seats for the amount of people that they booked. And a woman at the Hilton said that we could not leave the hotel until the next shuttle came and picked her up. Or else she was like gonna ride in her trunk. I don't know what her plans were by holding us hostage there.
Stop the bus, but
our bus driver did it.
The bus driver was intimidated.
Yeah, he stopped. He waited. The next bus came up, and then we continued on our way.
He also pulled the most impressive reverse out of a complicated parking lot.
And stressed me out. I can't reverse my own car.
It was great.
It was impressive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So from there, it was about a 40-minute ride to Port Canaveral.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful ride. Didn't really see anything. They tried to tell us there might be some dolphins to our right. Didn't see anything. But still, we got there. We got off. So when you book through Carnival Cruises, if you are I think it's Diamond and Platinum, they call them, you get to pick your boarding time a week before everybody else. So since this was our first cruise ever, we were sadly blue card. We were blue carded, which means I had to pick my time the same time the rest of the general public did.
Sad. I feel like we were the most rare group on there.
I didn't see another blue card on there. I feel like we were the only first-time cruisers on the Carnival Magic for that cruise. If you guys are wondering, we got it right here. Yeah. So if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, this is Zack's card, and you'll see it has a little Cheers package on there, little sticker. All it is a sticker. We'll get to it. So we got that bad boy. Picked our time was 11:15. So let's talk
about getting the luggage off. So if you were part of that group, like they have the
porters,
yeah, not like the Himalayan mountain porters. They move luggage.
Yeah.
So they did a pretty quick job of unloading and sorting luggage. We, by the way, print 2 luggage tags. If you flew with like a carry-on and a checked luggage bag, but you want them to take all of your stuff onto the ship, tag both of them with the required luggage tag.
So when you confirm your check-in time, they immediately send you PDF luggage tags to print out. First-time cruisers, they only sent one for Zack and one for Ashley. So I printed one out for each of us. Thought we could only check one piece of luggage per person. Wrong. Print as many as you need. I think you can do, it depends on how.
You can do all of them.
But it depends on how long your cruise is, the amount of luggage Carnival will let you check. So we were on an 8-day cruise, and you are allowed to check 2 pieces plus have your carry-on with you. That is the limit for Carnival when you're doing an 8-day cruise. I believe it's actually 7 days and above.
Okay.
So if you're on a 4-day cruise, you can only check 1 piece of luggage, is what I'm getting from the other bloggers.
Please correct us if any of this information is wrong.
We've done 1 8-day cruise in our life. So
at that point,
what did we need?
We waited to make sure. So we had our carry-on that was not tagged. So we had to carry our own flight carry-on bags onto the ship. And we were just waiting to make sure that our checked bags were actually picked up because, nervous, Jack.
Also, the only time the GoPort shuttles leave from our hotel was 9:15. It only took 40 minutes to get there. We could not check in until 11:15. There was...
Shout out to our people who gave us...
Was it Miller High Life?
No, it was
Ultra?
It was Miller. Yeah, it was Michelob Ultra.
Michelob Ultras.
I don't remember their names though.
They were the nicest people. We were sitting there smoking cigarettes, and on a bench down from us, 2 strangers went, "Hey, you drink?" And I looked at him immediately. I was like, "Strangers can't talk to him. You got to deal with this." And then he was like, "Beer? Yeah, let's be friends." So he just casually kept passing us ultras. We never had to really speak to them though. That was the beautiful thing was
we became the best of friends.
By keeping a very large distance. He would just check and he'd notice when the beer was empty.
Pull a bag or a beer out and look at me and nod. And if I nodded back, hand it off.
And I feel like that from that moment, we were like, cruising is probably going to be a pretty rad experience. If this is what the people are like,
We never saw them again.
We never saw them again. That was the worst part. So if that was you and you're watching this right now, please give us a shout out. Send us your Instagram handle because you guys were rad. And
I'm gonna send you some stuff.
It was a great first experience for us to have being outside that port and being like, what do we do for 2 hours? It was rad.
Yeah.
So we found the bathrooms. We had to tinkle before we actually went through customs.
Indeed.
To get through customs, we got in a line for, they separated it by people that were vaccinated and had their vaccine cards.
If you had all your documents, which means you did the pre-check-in, you were vaccinated, and I think that was it, right? You were vaccinated, had pre-check-in,
and your negative COVID test.
And yeah.
You had to have a negative COVID test still. So we had all that.
And then the other line said, all others. So there was a giant line wrapped around where people were just standing there, burning in the sunlight.
Another side note, I highly recommend, so before this cruise, neither one of us had passports. And when we get to the debarkation and even embarkation, there were separate lines, which I'm not sure you noticed. If you had a birth certificate and a legal ID, which is fine if you're going from like a closed loop cruise. So you start at the same port, end at the same port. Birth certificate, ID are fine. This guy, before we left, was like, we need to get passports.
Back to it.
So the line for the passports is much faster. They scan your passport, you're done. Birth certificates, IDs seem to take a little bit longer, separate line. Highly recommend if you have the time, just get the passport and be done with it. I really recommend that. That's probably one of my biggest tips for anxiety saving, not having to go through this separate line of all that. Not saying it's a bad thing, but for convenience and ease of mind, get your passport before you go anywhere.
And really, I would say to get on the ship was probably 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was extremely quick, extremely easy.
You go through the original, like, pre-check kind of thing where they make sure all your, you have your boarding pass and all your paperwork's in line. And then you go to the immigration kind of setup, or not
customs.
Yeah. And, they just looked at passports, made sure that was good, checked you off, and then
carry-on went through like a luggage detector.
And then you got to do your pretty photos in front of the fake ship.
Yeah, so you get to go up that fancy staircase and they tell you welcome home, which I loved that. Welcome home, because not a lot of people. I feel
like we lived there for a year.
I felt like we lived there. Yeah, it felt like a year. 8 days felt like a very long. It didn't seem long before we were on that boat, but I feel like by day 7, I was like, as much fun as I was having, it was a great experience. I was like, I miss my bed. I miss the dogs. I'm ready to go home and just sleep for 4 days straight, which is impossible when you have a real job.
We normally do.
Yeah. So once we got through customs, we took those pretty photos. We don't have any of those ones.
We don't have them.
We'll talk about the photos in another.
Are we going to talk about it?
We'll talk about it in a different video. We'll talk about the entire Pixels experience.
Oh, Pixels.
They can get you. They'll get you real quick. But the first thing I want to talk about is, so we actually, the way that we paid for this cruise was we went through Raise.com. Raise as in RAISE.com. And we were able to get $1,000 gift cards. And by doing that, we actually got $100 back. So it's like a refund on your gift card that you get for Raise.com. And then through that, we each bought $100 gift cards. So we had $2,200 that we spent $2,000 on. So we got an extra $200. And by the time we got off the cruise, we still had $600 plus onboard credit. Still figuring that out. We will update you on that.
It was because they canceled 2 of our excursions.
They canceled 2 of our excursions. We will also get to that later on in the video.
Probably for the better, because we had a much better time not excursion.
Yeah. We pretty much did exactly what the excursions would have had us do, minus a few things, for about a third of the price. And we also talked to some local. We'll get into that. I gotta cut myself off here. One take, Ashley. Let's go. So we got on the boat. The first thing I want to warn you about. We were very excited. There are just servers walking around. First time cruisers, no idea what's going on. Tray of drinks. Tray of drinks. Would you like one? Yeah. I want a whale tail. Look how cool this is. Hand painted, it says. Carnival cruise ship. It says.
That's all plastic.
Hand painted.
All right.
Hand painted, guys. It's hand painted.
I support it now if it's hand painted.
It says it's hand painted. But
artisanal.
we probably should tell you, we bought the Cheers package for this cruise, which means that you can have up to 15 alcoholic drinks per day. Any coffee, any energy drinks, bottles of water, soda, that all comes with it.
Anything liquid that goes in your mouth.
Was it worth it? Still not sure.
From the cruise line, I should say.
Yeah, still not sure. It was weird. I feel like I get tipsy off of 3 Trulies at home, yet I hit 15 drinks on a cruise ship and was fine the entire time.
You were also only allowed 1 drink per check.
Per check, yeah.
So if it's busy, like, it could take you another 20 minutes to get another drink.
And I believe we went to the coffee bar, and I tried to get a coffee and a Powerade. And she told me that I had to wait 15 minutes until I got my Powerade. So I was able to get the coffee, and then I had to go back 15 minutes later to get the Powerade, which I never did. I just drank the coffee, and I was like, I'm not going to stand here for 15 minutes and wait for a Powerade. Yeah. That seems silly. So with this guy,
I'd say it's worth it if you drink.
A lot.
Or if you just drink soda or like beverages, the suds. What is it called?
Bubbles.
Bubbles.
The Bubbles cheer package.
Bubbles.
It was like $8 a day for our 8-day cruise. And again, these prices vary with how long your cruise is. So our Cheers package for 8 days was $58.95 per day, which ended up being about $450 a person. Okay. So I think we paid $900 for the Cheers package total with taxes and all that included.
It might have worked out.
Yeah, it might have worked out.
But let me add that in the actual, like, for the buffets, they don't have any soda or anything available. So if you are a soda drinker or want something other than water, coffee, or tea,
they had lemonade.
Or
that was it. It was lemonade, unsweetened iced tea, and coffee were all that were available in the Lido buffet.
Super diabetic lemonade, yeah. That would probably be to your benefit.
Kathy, I know you're watching. Diet Pepsi was not unlimited to you. You needed to buy the Bubbles Cheer package. You are allowed to bring 12-pack of cans only. It cannot be bottles per person. So it can't be bottles, can't be plastic, no glass. It had to be cans if you want to bring on your own soda.
And you also have to carry it on yourself because we saw that while unloading from the actual cruise terminal. Also,
while we talk about Cheers package, I want to talk about Hennessy, man.
Oh,
because shout out to Hennessy, dude. There was one guy on the Carnival Magic who
day one
till like day 4 just carried around.
I think it was about
day 3
days. Yeah.
Just rocked a bottle of Hennessy the whole time. Probably paid $40 for it. Probably less, duty free on the ship.
Also, let's talk about that. Don't buy anything while still in port. I'm sure some people are watching this that have cruised quite a bit.
Yeah.
For those who haven't, like us, who didn't know anything, getting charged taxes while you're in either anything U.S. territory. So Florida, any Florida waters or Puerto Rico, you are charged taxes. Even if you have that Cheers package, you are charged sales tax on what it would cost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not much. Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's like 56 cents per drink.
Right. But when you go to use your Cheers package, you get a drink, you'll get a receipt, and it'll say whatever the tax amount was, which is what you're going to be charged. Back to Hennessy.
Back to Hennessy, dude. So yeah! That would be my preference for the next cruise that we go on, is we both bring, granted we have to carry it on, a 12-pack of sodas. We get the Bubbles package for soda, coffee, all that. You just buy duty-free liquor from the store.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the cool things about pre-booking the Cheers package before you get on board is you actually save 10% on that package, which may seem small, but confirmed for a 7-day plus cruise, it's $56.95 a day. I think earlier in this video I said $57.95 a day, so I apologize. $56.95 a day for 7+ days. We were on it for 8 days. Another cool thing is that you can prepay gratuities. Your gratuities are already added into that Cheers package. The one thing I will say is we had some really great servers on the Magic. We ended up tipping on top of those gratuities that we had already paid because we just had some really phenomenal bartenders. All the staff was so kind. Same thing goes with our room steward. When you book the cruise, you can add the option to prepay gratuities for dining staff, room steward, all those good people that help you out the entire time on the cruise. And we just had such phenomenal service. We found ourselves tipping most of those people on top of it anywho, even though we prepaid those gratuities. So another thing to think about when you're buying the Cheers package is that depending on the length of your cruise, you're going to be at ports of call. So those days you may not have the time to fully drink your Cheers package, and you're also going to, unless you buy an all-inclusive excursion through Carnival or a private corporation, whatever you're doing, you're still going to be buying drinks off the ship on top of the drinks you've already paid for while on the ship. So that is one thing to keep in mind.
Be back at you right after this commercial break.
Winner. Ski ball.
All right.
And we're back! Sorry, that was aggressive.
Zack made a cup of coffee, if you couldn't tell. We realized this video's gone on for quite long enough.
It's been 3 weeks.
I'm still wearing the same sweatshirt. Everything's fine. Zack spent 3 hours learning to make the subscribe button, so if you guys could actually subscribe.
It's not great.
3 hours. We've been YouTube tutorialing it. We'll be back with you for part 2. We'll talk a little bit about our balcony stateroom. We'll talk about the dining options, all the pools, extracurricular activities, deck activities, game shows, bingo.
There'll probably be a part 3.
There's
and a part 4.
probably, we still need to talk about the ports we went to. You guys don't even know where we went yet. We haven't told them once.
We were just on a boat.
Our DIY excursions,
Ship,
because
sorry.
yeah, it's a ship side.
Ship.
We don't want to get yelled at by the cruise world yet. So again, 2 out of 3 of the excursions we booked through Carnival were canceled. So we did our own thing, and I still think that may have been one of the best things that happened to us. So we'll report to you on those, most likely on part 9. This might be a 9. We'll probably be on our next cruise by the time...
We won't have internet, so we can't finish it.
We probably won't be able to finish it. So we'll probably be talking about Belize and Cozumel and Honduras by the time we get back. And
They don't even know where we went this time, and you're already telling them where we're going next time? Whoopsie daisy.
boom shakalaka. Thanks, guys. If you could like, subscribe, share, tell your friends.
Or don't.
Or don't. You don't have to.
Her.
Ball. Cassie.
This is what we deal with.
Harf. Until next time, guys. Hopefully it's...
It's not gonna be any better.
I
I'm
hope-
sorry.
We'll work on
But
it.
we're gonna try.
Bah, 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 bah.
Finger gun, finger gun, finger. It wasn't on, Ashley. There you go.
Cassie, come here.
Until next time.
Resistant.